What's up, YouTube? I figured we'd do another Throws and Brews Reacts. So today, we are going to watch the Star Wars Episode 9 Rise of Skywalker trailer, and I'm going to react to it because I've actually not watched it yet. That's right. I've been a Star Wars fan since I was like a little kid, and I saw this trailer dropped, and then I got busy at work, and I got busy with kids, and I was like, you know what? After it dropped and I thought about it, I was like, it'd probably be a good idea. Maybe I should just do a reacts video and watch it because I couldn't watch it right away. So, here we are. So, I'm just going to kind of flip the camera, and you guys are going to watch it with me, and then I'll kind of pause it and give you my thoughts as we kind of go through the trailer, because I'm sure you've seen it. I haven't seen it, but I'll give you my initial thoughts while the trailer is going through. Got it all adjusted here. Here is the Episode 9 Rise of Skywalker trailer. Breathing. There's Rey. Dig Rey. Okay.
We've passed on all we know.
Luke.
1,000 generations live in you now.
Are we gonna retcon what happened in The Last Jedi?
But this is your fight.
Every generation has a legend. Cool. We're on a desert planet again. TIE fighter! Pew! Running. Backflip! Cool. Lando! Woo! Alright, I'm excited Lando's back. Also cool.
We'll always be with you. No one's ever really gone.
It's the Death Star? I think that's the Death Star. A piece of it. I know that laugh. Holy cow. Okay. Let's talk about what we just saw. So, initial voiceover of Luke Skywalker, Mark Hamill, clearly Mark Hamill, talking to Rey in her mind. TIE fighter is approaching her. She ignites Luke's lightsaber, the blue one, jumps over, does a backflip over the TIE fighter. Cool visual. Not sure how they get to that point, but cool visual. You kind of get to see bits and pieces. Kylo fighting dudes, and I think I saw some of the Knights of Ren in there as well, and I know they've been teasing and saying, oh, it's gonna be some, you're gonna see the Knights of Ren in the next one and everything, so be excited to see the Knights of Ren. Hopefully this all sort of retcons what they did with The Last Jedi, because I really did not like The Last Jedi, and I'll get into that in a minute, but let's finish talking about the trailer first. Lando? Hell yeah, Lando. Billy D. Williams is back as Lando. That's awesome. Super excited about that. You see them overlooking what appears to be a busted Death Star, probably from when they blew up the Death Star, although I thought I saw the Death Star blow up like this, into tiny little vaporized pieces and not big chunks. But who knows? That's fine. That's fine. So Death Star chunk, that's pretty cool. Overall, very cool. I like it. So let's talk about what I want out of this final piece of this trilogy of Star Wars and what we haven't gotten yet. So the first one, The Force Awakens, was it was good. I thought it was a good setup, a good first film. It planted a lot of seeds for a lot of secrets, and some cool stuff happened. I actually liked it overall. I thought overall it was a good intro movie to what was set to be a trilogy, and I was like, you know what? This is a great setup for a ton of things. I kind of looked at it as though it was like a season opening of a show or something to kind of set the tone for the entire season. There was a lot of good throwbacks. The whole story in and of itself felt good. It was good to see returning characters, etc., etc., etc. And then The Last Jedi, which I thought was a very pretty movie, but couldn't have been written more terribly. The writing in The Last Jedi was just awful. The whole thing, none of it made sense. None of it made sense at all. It started out, and then you get this version of Luke Skywalker that you're like, this is not the Luke Skywalker who we're supposed to know. And I guess he's got like sort of a story arc through the whole thing. But even that, it's sort of just poorly done the whole time. You don't ever really see Rey training or anything, and it's just like she's just sort of good at Jedi for no real good reason. There's not a lot of training sequences. You don't ever see her fail. You don't see her working on stuff. And I feel like that, for as long as the movie was, they really should have spent some time with that. Now, maybe it happened. Maybe it's in the books. I don't know. But if that's the case, then there needed to be more of that and less of Canto Blight, which was just a nonsensical, terrible side story of the play. It was terrible. It made no sense. It was of no consequence to the whole movie, and you could have totally written that whole part out and spent more time with Rey and Luke and him training her to become the next Jedi and, the savior of the universe and what have you. But they didn't do that. I felt shortchanged on that, which inevitably hurt the character of Rey and hurt the character of Luke. And I just for this Canto Blight scene that was just pretty and on a different place so that they could have like different sets and stuff, and it sucked. That whole Canto Blight thing with DJ and everything, and even what they did with Captain Phasma in that sort of side arc was just it was horrific. It didn't do anything good for any of the characters and was just crap, and it took away from the rest of the movie, which should have been focused on Rey and Luke, but even that wasn't done that great. And then there was the whole, primary plot line, which just kind of didn't make sense. It's like, oh, the ship's running out of gas and we're getting chased by this other big ship. And then I don't understand. Like that, none of that made sense. And everything that happened in the ship with Poe and with Princess Leia and none of that made sense either. It really didn't. And it just all felt silly and stupid. And it was all stupid writing. And you could have taken that and done something good with it and sort of ended up in the same place that you ended up, but they didn't. And it was stupid, and it was nonsensical, and it was just like dramatic for dramatic's sake, and it didn't make sense. It was dumb. So hopefully they sort of go back in this to right the wrongs of The Last Jedi and not necessarily explain it, but sort of retcon some of it out a little bit. You know what I mean? Sort of like just kind of gloss over and don't mention a lot of the stupid crap that happened, and just sort of pick up where you left off. I know Luke Skywalker, for spoilers, Luke Skywalker died or became part of the Force at the end of The Last Jedi. So, hopefully we see Luke Skywalker Force Ghost Jedi. That would be cool. Totally cool with seeing that. That's how we saw Obi-Wan through the whole original trilogy, was as a Force Ghost. So I'm fine with that. Hopefully you see a lot of that. Him sort of narrating the trailer kind of gives me a thought of like that's what's probably going to happen. And that'll be good. Especially if they make it like actual, the Luke Skywalker that you're supposed to know and that you would think that, oh yeah, this is how Force Ghost Luke Skywalker would act based on how he was in the original trilogy. That makes sense to me. Kind of give him a like Obi-Wan type of role, the way that they had Obi-Wan in the original trilogy, which would be cool. I think it makes more sense to keep Poe and Finn together. Don't give them separate storylines. Keep them as a team doing whatever it is that they're doing. It doesn't matter what they're doing. Keep them together. Don't have Poe in this like weird I'm arguing with this lady general for an entire movie. Like, that was dumb. I hated all of that, and I thought it was a waste of Oscar Isaac entirely. So don't do that. Keep Finn with Poe. They seem to have sort of the best on-screen chemistry of any two, and their scenes were always the best scenes of each character when they were together in any film that they've done thus far. So let's just keep them together this whole film and have them be on the same path. I think that makes the most sense. And, you know, keep Ray in there too. Keep the band together. Excited to see Lando. I think Billy D. Williams is awesome every time you ever see Billy D. Williams. So I'm excited to see Billy D. Williams reprise his iconic role as Lando Calrissian, which of course is, I mean, is there a cooler character than Lando Calrissian? No, I don't think there is. Kylo Ren appears to be full-on bad guy, which I guess they sort of did. I don't know. God, The Last Jedi was just bad. But I would be excited if they kind of give Kylo Ren back the sort of like badass, creepy. In the first scene that you see him in The Force Awakens, like you end that scene and like people like Finn's got like a bloody helmet and you know he kills the guy. He kills the three-eyed raven. Game of Thrones fans kills the three-eyed raven in the beginning. It's just such good stuff. Like that scene particularly like is burned into my mind. It was so good. Really made the film The Force Awakens for me. Kind of pull Kylo back to that. Let's see the Knights of Ren. I don't know why we haven't seen them yet. That's in and of itself is kind of stupid. Like, clearly we're supposed to be able to see the Knights of Ren, and we've talked about the Knights of Ren, and where the hell are they? Seriously, it's a whole galaxy. Why are there only like 35 people in it? Where the hell are the Knights of Ren? Anyway, let's see them. Let's see Kylo's character develop into something that doesn't suck, because he was a bumbling idiot, and both him and Hux were kind of portrayed as bumbling cartoon bad guys in The Last Jedi. The Last Jedi I have a lot of problems with. It just really sucked, and you know, you could see whatever online about, well, what about this? What about that? I was like, no, you can't write it. Like, yeah, it was a pretty movie, but you can't write a stupid storyline like it's a Saturday morning kids cartoon, but then make it PG-13. It sucked. It messed up every character. They wrote every character poorly, and no character did anything that any character did made no sense. That it was like, nope, they just didn't watch the first film, and nothing made sense in the second film. And then hopefully now we can just sort of put all that behind us. Kind of like they did when they did the prequel trilogy, and Episode 2 was terrible, and they just sort of vaguely referenced it, but then Episode 3 was okay. So I'm hoping that's kind of what they do, except maybe let's not do some like coin flip, like, well, Anakin's a bad guy now. No, like if somebody's going to have a massive change of heart, let's have a storyline, let's have an arc that gets them there, not just a like, whoop, guess I have to be bad now, or whoop, guess I have to be good now. Let's have an arc. Let's get there. Let's not just do it for the sake of the plot, you know? So, excited about it. First trailer looks cool. Not a lot of details, just sort of like, hey, here's Lando. Gonna shoot stuff. Ray's a Jedi now. So let's hope that it rights some of the wrongs of The Last Jedi and really kind of pulls all of the characters and uses them all to their full potential that we first sort of saw the seeds sown in The Force Awakens, and now can have, you know, a nice final closing of the trilogy, because I do think that it deserves that. I would like to see that, but we'll see what happens. That's going to do it for me today, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Hit the like button and subscribe and all that stuff. I do this type of stuff sometimes. I know it's like, well, mostly you do yo-yos, but yeah, sometimes this is important. I want to talk about Star Wars sometimes. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Cheers to you. I'll see you next time.